Welcome back to Play the Game HQ. I'm Daniel, and in this video, I'm going to teach you how to play Aqua, Biodiversity in the Oceans, designed by Dan and Tristan Halstead and published by the Op, who helped sponsor this video. Aqua is a tile-laying game for 1 to 4 players where you'll be drafting and placing coral tiles into your own personal reef, creating habitats to attract animals, and scoring for the animals they attract, as well as the ecosystems you create. To set up the game, each player takes a starting hotspot tile and puts it in front of them. This is going to be the starting point for your reef. For your first game, take the 6 core ecosystems numbered 1 through 6 and put them in a line in the middle of the table. Once you're familiar with the game, you can use the advanced ecosystem tiles to add different scoring challenges, but regardless of which ones you use, you'll always use 6. Sort the small animals by type and randomly put 1 animal type above each ecosystem. Stack the large animals up by shape with the highest value animal on top, and if you're playing with 2 or 3 players, remove the tile with the red whale icon. There's 1 of those for each shape of large animal. Shuffle all of the coral tiles and stack them face down next to the ecosystem, then randomly remove a number of tiles based on player count and put them back in the box. 1 tile for 4 players, 18 for 3, and 35 tiles for 2 players. And those numbers can also be found on the back of your starting tiles. Randomly pick a first player and give them the sea snail tile and you're ready to get started. Now we are fully set up for a 4-player game here, even though we're only going to be building out 1 ecosystem. In a regular game, each player would have their own starting tile and be building their own ecosystem. Aqua plays over 17 rounds, and each round the market will be filled with tiles, and players take turns drafting and placing a tile. When there's no tiles left to refill the market, the game is over and it's time to score. To start the round, the player with the sea snail tile prepares the market by laying out face-up coral tiles, so there's 1 more tile than there are players. So in a 4-player game, each round starts with 5 tiles showing. Then put the sea snail tile next to the market and you're ready to start the round. The player who had the sea snail tile goes first, and players take turns going clockwise around the table. On your turn, you're going to take 1 of the available face-up tiles from the market and add it to your coral so that at least 1 side connect with a matching coral in your play area. Next, check to see if you've created a habitat, which won't happen in the first round, but will happen in later rounds. Habitats are formed when you create a perfect hexagon with 3 sections of the same color, like this. This is a blue habitat. When you create a habitat, take a small animal of that color and place it on top of the hexagon. Placing a small animal on a hexagon is not optional. If you ever create a perfect 3-section hexagon, even if it's in a larger set of tiles, you have to place a small animal on it. Reefs are created by groups of 4 or more visible connected corals with the same color, like this pink section here. And they don't attract any animal tiles, but they do score for the animals directly adjacent to them at the end of the game. And if adding tile to a reef ever creates a perfect 3-section hexagon, you still add a small animal tile to it. And if that happens and the visible section is now less than 4 sections, then it's no longer a reef until you add more sections to it. After you add your tile and attract any small animals to your coral, you can check to see if you've attracted any large animals. Large animals have 3 requirements. They have to be placed on at least 1 tile that was placed this turn, they have to sit completely on top of small animals with no gaps underneath, and they have to have biodiversity, meaning that every animal underneath them has to be different. So because I placed this tile during this turn, I can attract this large hammerhead shark, which sits fully on top of all 3 of the animals with no gaps underneath, and all 3 animals underneath are different. You don't have to attract a large animal if you don't want to, but if you do, take the highest value large animal of that shape that's available and place it on your board following the placement rules. Once you finish your turn, play continues in a clockwise order until everyone has taken a turn. You also have the option on your turn to take the sea snail token instead of taking a coral tile. If you do this, then you'll go first next round, but your turn ends immediately without drafting a coral tile. If no one takes the sea snail tile, then the last player to take a turn in the round takes it, and the next round starts with the person who has the sea snail tile refilling the market. You're going to continue until a round ends and there's no tiles left to refill the market, which is a total of 17 rounds. When that happens, it's time to score. First, you're going to score all of your large animals by adding the points shown on this tile, which in this case is 11 points. Then you can remove that tile, but put it next to your play area. Next, add up the total points on your small animals, but leave them where they are. So I have a total of 16 points from small animals. Third, you're going to add up the points for each of your reef. Remember, a reef is a section of 4 or more visible tiles of the same color. Each reef scores for small animals directly adjacent to it, and for each reef you have, score the points shown on all of the small animals touching it. And a single animal can score for multiple reefs. So I have 3 animals touching this red reef for a total of 3, 6, 8 points. And I have 2 animals touching this pink reef for a total of 5 points. And finally, you're going to score for ecosystems. Each ecosystem tile scores differently, and there's two types of ecosystems. Global ecosystems have this solid circle in the corner, and they score for tiles anywhere on your board. Local ecosystems show these overlapping circles, and those score for adjacency. Many of the ecosystems refer to native animals when they're scoring. Because the animals are randomly assigned to each ecosystem at the beginning of the game, the native animal just means the animal that's next to that tile in the current game that you're playing. So for this ecosystem, the native animal is clownfish. For tile 1, every native small animal that you have scores 1 point for each small animal adjacent to it. So I only score 1 point for that. The other 5 basic tiles score the points shown for each large animal you have and each matching native animal in your play area. So I have 1 hammerhead shark and 2 clownfish, and that's going to score 3 points for each clownfish. If I had 2 hammerhead sharks, I would score 6 points for each clownfish. Once you add up all of your points, the player with the highest score wins. If you're playing with younger players and want to play a simpler game, don't score for reefs or ecosystems. During setup, you can leave all of the ecosystem tiles in the box, and the game will focus solely on large animals and small animals where the points are clearly displayed. And that's going to make it a lot easier for beginners to keep up with and calculate their scores. Once you're familiar with the basic rules, you can play the advanced variant. During setup, shuffle all 24 ecosystem tiles face down and randomly select 6 to use for that game, and put the others back in the box. The back of the rulebook has detailed explanations of how all of the different ecosystems score. And if you want to play solo, you're going to set up the game like normal, laying out all of the large animals in play, but removing the sea snail token and 19 random coral tiles. On your turn, reveal 3 coral tiles and take and place 1, then discard the 2 remaining tiles. The game ends after 17 rounds and you'll score as normal, but the rulebook has a scoring chart to let you know how you did, and it also has a variety of scenarios, challenges, and modifications that you can use to make the solo experience even better. And that's Aqua, Biodiversity in the Oceans. If you have any questions, be sure to leave a comment and I'll answer as quick as I can. Thanks so much for watching, we'll see you next time. Bye.